cueing me. Welcome to the plenary session of Rotary. The 99th District Conference has started, and we have almost 1,000 Rotarians in the room or that are attending the District Conference. Welcome back from yesterday, a wonderful night that we had yesterday. Now, it is amazing to see that so many of the Rotarians that were happening and having a beautiful night yesterday are here in this room to start the plenary sessions. This is where we talk about the different projects we've had, the different communities we've gone to. This is when we actually welcome our guest, and our guest speaker today, our guest of honor today is the Katikiro of Uganda, Owechitiibwa Charles Peter Mayiga. Now, what does it mean for every Rotarian to be here today? One, the keynote speech of the district governor, he opens up, and we've already seen the boy uplifting program and the different boys that have been shown to us. Those boys have had a 12-month training and shown what it is to be boys. Now, secondly, we have also experienced our district governor opening the district conference. Right now, what is happening, we have a few remarks from past leaders allowing us to understand what this district conference is about. But one of the highlights I want to give you is we have different Rotarians. We have Rotarians from Canada, Rotarians from Australia, Rotarians from the United States of America, and from Uganda, we have Rotarians from Yumbe. Welcome Yumbe, welcome Arua, welcome those from Gulu. We have Rotarians all the way from Mbarara. We have Rotarians coming in from Kabale. And of course, we have Rotarians that are nearer in central and in the eastern part of Uganda. It is beautiful that we have all of you here as Rotarians. Welcome to the Rotary Moment Show. Again, I'm Carol Chazeka Koza on the Rotary Moment. We're going to make sure that we live stream this starting from yesterday, today, and tomorrow. You'll get to understand what Rotary is and why we get to celebrate the district conference.
At the close of that district, 2020 2021, the people
That was so calm.
I am still calm because of the people behind me.
here to celebrate with us. At this conference, our guest of honor also has quite a number of other speakers that are here, and the panel will be later unveiled to you. For Rotarians, this is the protocol, and therefore every other speaker who comes on board, you sign on this protocol for the conference. Thank you very much.
Nothing to do with last night, are you sure? Recognize, eh? Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have a short performance by Elgon Ngoma Troupe. For those of you who are aware, when the DG was on his tour of duty to the eastern Uganda, he visited Mbale. As these guys come, visited Mbale and was very impressed with this Elgon Ngoma Troupe. Elgon is one of the mountains that we have in eastern Uganda. It's just over 4,000 meters above sea level. It's a very beautiful place, and also it can also be seen from Kenya, our neighboring country. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome for a short performance before we continue with the rest of the program. Ngoma means drum, so they have a number of drums, as you can see. Over to you, Ngoma Troupe.
Is going to jump in 2 minutes. Mugamba chuse. Alex togenda yogera ku walkie-talkie.
Hello?
But who is that captain of the ship? And that captain of the ship, I'll tell you, is a runner who I personally know that every time he's at the finish line, excels and sighs to the success of that marathon he has had. I want you to welcome with me Rotarian and District Conference Chair Robert Chigundu, who has done a wonderful job. Congratulations and congratulations.
Thank you, Carol. It's been a big job, as you say, and a hard job as well.
Yeah.
We were appointed in December 2022. I know I earlier said 2023, but I made a mistake. And we've been meeting for the last 14 months. And like anything you're organizing, you never know how perfect it will turn out. It's been, you know, some fights sometimes with people, service providers, the bookings, the appointments. But I am happy so far. We promised our delegates a different conference, like from none they have ever seen. And that absolutely so far is what we are saying. We had a very wonderful opening ceremony, and then that was topped up or tipped up by the welcome night in the evening, where Maddox wowed the fans, and we enjoyed a very good reggae night. Today we have the plenary, which is just being opened now by the Katikiro of Buganda, OHT Charles Peter Maiga. After that, we are going to have some meetings and presentations. The first presentation is on AI, importance of artificial intelligence. Then economic social governance is the next one, ESG. And thereafter, we shall break into sessions, including women in Rotary. Then in the evening, we're going to have a social evening, which is going to be led by the young people in Rotary, the Rotaractors. And our artist tonight is Vinka. So we do expect good stuff again tonight. The vibe is going to be high, just like it was for the old people last night. Tomorrow we do have a plenary again. We do have some meetings. And thereafter, in the evening, we shall have a social evening, a climax called the DG's Banquet, where officially the district governor that's taking over, I'm Nkutu, will be introduced to the Rotarians and the delegates. And then our artist for tomorrow evening is Baby Cole. So we expect another evening that's full of vibes. So far, if you ask me, everything is going according to plan, and hopefully that's how it will be until Saturday evening.
Now the gentleman I'm with can run away anytime. Everybody needs him. But one final question, and this is about leadership. You are managing almost 5,000 people, and amongst that is your team of people that had to manage and have brought together this beautiful function. What is that takeaway you must give to that leader who must organize this? I mean, you have different nights. What is that takeaway? Rotarians are leaders. What is that takeaway you give to the next district conference chair?
I think the biggest challenge in Rotary leadership, which is not found in any other leadership, is that you're leading volunteers. These people are not being paid. They're giving their time. Sometimes they're giving their money to help you organize this function. So you have to be patient with them. Like you saw me earlier on the stage, I apologized to them and I said, sometimes I've been extra pushy, and that's because of me. I'm naturally, I do have OCD, but I'm also taught, and I'm an architect, so I'm taught to have order. So many times I've insisted on small things, on how the report should be presented, on how the minutes should be presented. But you see, you have to remember that they are volunteers. When you're leading volunteers, you push as far as you can push with what you want, and then you step back to understand that volunteer. They may be having a sick relative, they may be having time for work that does not give them enough time to do what you want them to do. So many times I push, and then I step back. And I come back to the same volunteer and I say, okay, I know it's not going according to plan. How do you want me to help you? How do you want me to help you? And then sometimes they've been truthful and they say, can you give me this? Can you give me that? Maybe if you do this, I'll deliver better. So the biggest challenge here is that you have to be patient with the volunteers that you're leading. And if you're patient with them, I'm sure they'll deliver like you've done. My team has been very committed. They've been very committed. The opening night you saw last night, people were talking about how much it could have cost us. It was done on a shoestring budget, you can't imagine.
Yeah, I know.
A shoestring budget.
Yes.
But it turned out, and most people are thinking, we spent probably 200 million to have that opening ceremony, which wasn't the case.
Now I'm going to ask you to do one thing that I know you won't get a chance to do the whole conference, is to say thank you.
Yeah.
In camera.
I want to say thank you first and foremost to the delegates. The delegates are what made this conference. Like I said earlier on, I set out to register 1,000 delegates, and as I speak now, we are over 1,020 delegates. Then secondly, I want to thank our sponsors. Our sponsors do contribute half of the money we use here. You, the delegates, pay the other half. But the sponsors, I don't want to go through the list here because I may offend some if I don't list the entire 30. But we have had 30 sponsors, led by Centenary Bank, which is our platinum sponsor, and so many others. They've done a tremendous job. They've given us money, and that's how we have managed to pull this off. Finally, I want to thank you, the media, led by you, who has coordinated the whole thing, because you put us out there. At one time, I went to Twitter, formerly Twitter, which is now X, and the 99th DISCON was trending in Uganda.
Yes.
That was great. That means that we are being exposed, we're being seen, there's visibility, and we're doing very well. So thank you to all those three people. You've done a good job.
Thank you very much. And we've been on TV since the press conference. Thank you very much, and congratulations on having a successful district conference.
Thank you.
Thank you. And we're out.
Recognition. That's Otiani Julius, Rotary Club of Mbale City. He identified Mbale Metropolitan. He identified these children, and then they started this organization, the drumming business. So whatever they get out, this is what they use as school fees. He hired a house where they stay. Some of them are in primary school, some of them are in senior secondary school, but what they told me, some of them, they can't go beyond the primary 7, others they stop at senior 4. So when I saw them, I said, please come and show your talent to these good people. Now, this is a call to action. If you are there, if you can support them, to go to any tertiary institution. One of them told me, Governor, my desire is to go and do MDD. Because I've seen people are doing MDD now, they're earning a lot of money. So that's their vision. If you could support them, I'll be glad that you could support them. Before I invite Oichtiwa, allow me to recognize, the Baganda say, Ajita Tajiomia, you agree with me? Allow me to recognize one of our very own who has served this country as the general in the armed forces, a member of the Club of Kampala, South Island, General Edward Katumba Wamala, who is the current Minister of Minister of Works. General, glad to see you. Thank you so much for serving humanity. It's now my singular honor and pleasure to invite my young brother. He's my senior, but he's my young brother when it comes to age. Pastor this Governor Bob Wagwansibirwa, who is our Deputy Katikiro. Bob, you are most welcome. He deserves better. He's giant. He's giant. Giant Bob, you are most welcome.
Governor Edward has a strategy. He's much darker than me. I'm a little shorter than me. So he's not speaking at the podium, he's speaking on the side. That's one strategy. The second strategy, he has instructed the guys in the visuals to ensure that the image on the screen, his image on the screen is much lighter. And we won't benefit from that. So focus on the screen. I'm Rotarian Robert Wagwansibirwa from the Rotary Club of Kampala North. And I'm here to introduce our guest of honor. I'm proud to introduce you because he's my team leader, but I'm also humbled to introduce him because he's a friend. Our guest of honor was born in Kakambe, Kabonera, would group. And unfortunately now, his village of Kasanje has been included in the greater Masaka city. He is the last born from a very big family. Reaper, your aide will tell you who Katikiro is. And for 11 years, he has been supporting and he continues to support His Majesty the Kabaka to transform his subjects in the Kingdom of Buganda and beyond. Because of time, I'll just highlight 3 things about his 11-year journey as Katikiro. When he was appointed, a year or so later, he went on the famous Tafari program, a Tofari. Many of you believe that he was raising money, and he did raise a lot of money, over 10 billion shillings. But he was on a journey to mobilize the countryside, to inspire, to guide, to bring hope to the people in the countryside to wake up and do something and earn a living. And this has worked from the data we have in the kingdom and in the country. 5 years later, he was to lead a campaign under the guidance of His Majesty called MUNYONYO program. literally translated, with coffee growing and trading, you are sorted. And this program has transformed communities in Uganda and beyond, because many coffee growing regions in Uganda have coped and implemented this program. Coffee production in Uganda has gone up by 54%, and we are seeing a lot of changes in the countryside in terms of how households are living. His Majesty Kabaka is the ambassador for the fight against AIDS, and the Katikiro is supporting him to lead all of us to ensure that women, we take the lead in fight against AIDS. And for 5 years now, we have seen the districts that were leading in prevalence of AIDS in the country were all from Buganda Kingdom, all the 10 districts. But to date, only 3 are remaining, and the fight is on. He is a prolific writer, and he has authored 5 books, both in English and Luganda. Our guest of honor exemplifies most of what we believe and stand for as Rotarians. His commitment to service, integrity, community engagement, and promoting peace and world understanding. As Katikiro, he allows, engages, and receives people from all sides of the political divide, races, religious affiliations. He engages them, sit down to promote oneness and peace in our kingdom and country. My Rotary family and friends, I wish to invite you to join me on your feet to receive our guest of honor this morning, Oweekitiibwa Charles Tamaiga.
Thank you very much. Please be seated. The representative of the Rotary International President, Ms. Brenda Cressy, the outgoing District Governor, Edward Kakembo Nsubuga, the Second Deputy Katikiro, Oweekitiibwa Robert Wagwansibirwa, Abeekitiibwa n'abakungu mwenna, General Katumba Wamala, the Minister for Works, all past district governors, all Rotarians, and the young Rotarians, Rotractors, I think. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning to you all. I am deeply honored to be here among such dedicated and inspiring individuals. I thank my colleague for introducing me so generously. Yes, my mother wanted me to be a priest. I don't think my father wanted, because he never mentioned it even once. But it wasn't because I was interested in getting married or getting children. Priesthood is a calling. You must receive the calling. If you don't receive the calling, it has nothing to do with kids, although I have them, but that's what it is. It's about the work of God. but I'm happy where I am. I extend my heartfelt gratitude to Governor Edward Kakembo Nsubuga for inviting me to share my insights with Rotarians and their friends. This opportunity to contribute to the impactful work Rotary undertakes and to make a keynote address on the theme titled Keeping Hope Alive is actually a privilege. It's not every day that one addresses a large group of people whose common denominator is their love for service to humanity. I define hope as the fuel that keeps a person going even after some exhausting undertaking. When hope is lost, so does incentive. And failure often occurs not for lack of initiatives, but because there was nothing driving one from one stage to the next. Failure may occur where there was no feeling of possible success or a better day tomorrow. The Kingdom of Buganda appreciates the role of Rotary, not only in Buganda and Uganda, but in the entire globe. We commend Rotary because your activities generate hope, and this gives communities a reason to aim higher. When you look at the young men who are standing here and the stories they told us, I think they've got reasons to aim higher, to achieve better. When individuals and communities are empowered, they are enabled to believe in the possibility of a better future, thus inspiring them to take action towards greater horizons. A critical look at the activities of Rotary shows a series of undertakings which but can only generate hope, particularly in the Ugandan context. 116 years ago, Winston Churchill described us as the Pearl of Africa. The children sang about the Pearl of Africa. He based that description on what he witnessed, and probably in comparison to what he had seen in other parts of the continent. He noticed the mild weather patterns, the fauna and flora, the lakes, rivers, swamps, and abundant water bodies. Everywhere you look, the fertility of the soils, the wildlife. Years later, long after Churchill was dead, we degraded the environment in the name of development. Through deforestation, we settled, cultivated, and built factories in wetlands. I don't know what it is about investors and the wetlands. I don't know whether factories only function when you put them in swamps. I never understand that, but it happens. We dispose of plastics wantonly. I always get embarrassed when I meet visitors to Uganda, those who come for the first time, like Brenda. Brenda? Yes, like Brenda. I don't know what she thinks of us. Disposing of plastics wantonly. In all these dire situations, it is Rotary that comes to our rescue. Go Green. Oh yes. Oh yes. The Go Green campaign, for instance, makes us hope that we could possibly retain the description bestowed upon us by that British politician, by planting trees. When poor facilities for cancer cause devastation, the initiative again comes from Rotary. The cancer ward and bunker were embarked on at Nsambya Hospital, when funds are raised through the Rotary Cancer Run. And whenever I see Rotarian Mwanje, Stephen Mwanje, I think about the Cancer Run and the when we suffer shortages of blood banks and even blood units, Rotary comes to the fore with a brand new blood bank at Mengo Hospital. Thank you, Rotarian Katongole. And now let's look at the case of the boy child, whose care has been the flagship program for Governor Kakembo Nsubuga. We all know that most African communities follow a patriarchal clan system, which often creates assumptions about men's abilities. They have developed a belief that the boy child can take care of himself without need for specialized attention and nurturing. All concentration was reserved for the girl child, for whom many initiatives were drawn, and the girl child enjoyed specialized attention and mentorship. As a consequence, and all of you here may be my witnesses, the far cry has been that a number of boys have grown into non-focused adults who fail to take the right decisions, especially when faced with challenges. It was again Rotary that pointed out the truth, that children are children, whether boys or girls. Clap if you want to clap for him. We ought to take care for the boys. We ought to care for the boys as well, to love them. You know, there is this belief that boys don't need to be cuddled or you don't need to be tender with them. It's false. It's false. We've got to nurture them. We've got to teach them about life and how the world works. They don't learn about how the world works because they're men, they're boys. That belief is false. We've got to commend them for the good deeds. And we've got to correct them when they are. You know, in many families, if a girl should come back home late, the father is going to be tough with the girl. When the boy walks in, well, they ask him, where have you been? I've been playing football. And generally it ends there. And those could turn out to be the non-focused male adults. That's why the Kingdom of Buganda is proud to partner with Rotary. Our engagements, collaborations, and partnerships have filled voids which would otherwise leave gaping holes that would impede generation of and sustenance of hope. 3 years after Kabaka Mutebi's coronation, a portfolio responsible for the youth was created in the Kingdom government. That was after His Majesty realized the danger of leaving children and the youth to their devices. The Kingdom noticed the need to provide the youth with opportunities. Training was offered because leaders are not born, they're nurtured. Services are not received by mere providence. They are developed and offered. Cultural exchanges are not merely for exhibiting values from the past. They help us understand the dynamics of the current times. Those were some of the themes that the youth ministry of the Kingdom embarked on, in the belief that they would generate hope. Ladies and gentlemen, the future can only be served well by groomed, compassionate, and empowered leaders. And such are the efforts of Rotary as well. So when the Rotary Club of Bulang, which meets at the Buganda Royal Institute of Business and Technical Education in Mengo, started, and I was asked to launch it on the 15th of July 2022, I was more than happy to do so. Besides the usual attributes for which we hail Rotary, this particular club conducts business in Uganda. And hear this: few things generate hope more than a group of people speaking a language in which you think and speak. Think about it. Couple that with the fact that that group is carrying out selfless activities for the good of humanity, and the hope that is being generated is going to be kept alive. The Kingdom of Buganda wishes to build strong partnerships and collaborations with Rotary in order to leverage resources and address complex but actually surmountable challenges. The Go Green campaign, for example, has resulted in tens of thousands of trees being planted in the various counties of Buganda. The collaboration with regard to the Rotary Cancer Run has witnessed more and more people participating in the run, hence raising significant amounts of money for the banker. The Boy Child program ought to be run, in my opinion, a number of more other years so that we get more responsible male citizens. I've interacted with many district governors, and because you last only a year, I asked them who sustains the programs you initiate. Because if Annie Nkutu is not interested in the Boy Child, I don't know whether it will be dumped, I don't know what will happen, but I hope it can be sustained longer, because all of you are interested in responsible male citizens. In my opinion, the Kingdom of Buganda and Rotary are natural allies, and a few examples will attest to this. The Buganda Luchiko is the Kingdom's Great Council, passed a resolution several years back, making it mandatory to plant trees at Kwanjula. Kwanjula are the pre-wedding betrothal rituals. It is mandatory at those ceremonies to plant trees. And other ceremonies like Okwabi Olumbe, last funeral rites, or when celebrating wedding anniversaries, or when, at academic graduations, and when marking other major milestones. Approximately 1,000 trees are planted every weekend in Buganda, thanks to that resolution. The Kabaka Foundation and the Kingdom's Ministry of Health periodically conduct health camps, as Rotary does. They also carry out blood donation campaigns. As a matter of fact, the Kabaka Foundation was actually crowned for being the organization that collected the biggest number of units of blood throughout the world in 2021. The crown was handed over to the CEO of the foundation in Phoenix, Arizona, in the USA. Nearly 2 weeks ago, the Kingdom, and indeed the rest of Uganda and in many other parts of the world, people participated in the Kabaka's birthday run. 111,000 people participated in the run. It is the biggest paid-for gathering, because everybody who participates in the run buys a kit. It's the biggest paid-for gathering of people related to a kingdom or to a cultural institution. And it's indeed the biggest run in Africa. And it's about the 4th or 5th in the world. Runs, not marathons. There is a difference. The run was one of the activities marking the birthday of Ssaabasajja Kabaka Ronald Muwenda Mutebi II. He turned 69 last Saturday. The purpose of the run is to raise awareness about HIV/AIDS, as Governor Wagwa explained. To raise awareness about the scourge in Uganda. And UNAIDS, the agency of the UN, named Kabaka Mutebi II its goodwill ambassador in the fight against the virus in Eastern Central Africa in 2017. But the role was extended to the entire continent in 2023. And in December that year, 2023, I traveled to a UNAIDS organized conference in Harare, Zimbabwe, to share with the participants how the King's involvement in the fight against HIV/AIDS has led to a reduction in new infections in Buganda and other parts of Uganda. And the message I carried was very well received. Our objective is to totally eradicate HIV/AIDS from Uganda and the rest of Africa by 2030, as per the UNAIDS plan. Now, when you talk about eradicating HIV/AIDS, you are making every Rotarian smile, isn't it? On Monday, I was talking to Hashas, those who run in Kampala. They hold a run a week after the Kabaka's birthday run. And I told them the best way to eliminate HIV/AIDS is for everyone to stop having sex, so that we treat the 1,400,000 we have in the country. Good strategy, isn't it? All of you should stop. I can tell those who agree with me and those who don't. And after a thorough and efficient count, only 2% of Rotarians here agree with me. So when you eradicate HIV, you are talking about health. When you talk about health, you are talking about hope and a better life. The Nabagereka is the king's consort, organizes a royal mentorship camp called Ekisakate, where children between the ages of 6 and 18, boys and girls, are inducted in matters of culture, leadership, integrity, empathy, sports, and many more. So when Rotary talks about the boy child and the desire to have responsible adulthood for the boys, then look no further than Ekisakate and Nabagereka. That's why I told you I think we are natural allies. We carry out a significant number of projects to promote entrepreneurship, especially for the youths. Many of you may have heard about CBS FM's numerous PEOSA programs in the different counties. And some of you here may be members of the Subidos and Bogo Sako, another program under which the members are urged to be productive, to save, and to invest. All these programs are about empowerment. Our major focus and core age group are the youths, the young people. And as you may know, the fact that the future belongs to the youth isn't a mere adage, but it's the reality when you take the demographics into consideration. Those below 30 years are more than 70% of the Ugandan population. As such, 70% of Ugandans need the fuel that will keep them going all the time. That fuel is the hope that such empowerment generates. Young countries like Uganda are faced with many challenges. Uganda is only 120, 30 years. We're a young country. We should always talk about the challenges we face. We should raise awareness with a view to finding solutions eventually. But we can also initiate solutions, however humble. The services Rotary renders do not solve every challenge. All challenges cannot be eliminated at once, but they uplift our spirits. They call us to action. Those services make it appear possible that tomorrow could be better, and they transform dreams in tangible results. I am an eternal optimist, and I believe every cloud has a silver lining. And, Rotary activities, help me sustain the hope that is within me. These days, everyone talks about mindset change. I hear leaders talk about mindset change as if it were some magic wand that will miraculously solve all our problems. The Karamojongs were suffering from hunger, and somebody wrote in the papers, mindset change. How can you tell somebody who's starving about mindset change? You give them food. The world needs practical leaders and people or groups that directly deal with the challenges we face. That's what the world needs. The Rotary family is an agent of hope because you see the problems, you study the problems, you initiate solutions, you become the change that you desire. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is called pragmatism. The talk about mindset change, about pointing the real actions that can provide the answers is mere rhetoric. And the African saying goes, if you want to go fast or to arrive quickly, you travel alone. But if you want to go far, you travel with others. Rotary rallies numbers through its membership, and you tackle seemingly difficult obstacles. Through your collective efforts and unwavering dedication, you have touched lives and you became a constant source of hope in the world. I usually tell people that getting to the summit is hard, but maintaining the front position is even harder. That I'll tell you the same, Rotarians. As populations get bigger, as economic needs expand, and as the quest for social solutions gets more complex, the more we need you at the forefront. As you continue to inspire hope in others through your words, your actions, and your unwavering commitment, I too encourage you to continue upholding your ideals, as they so often make the world a better place for all. We always need to sustain good deeds for long in order for them to be effectively impactful. That's why I was hoping that the boy-child program can be sustained. And I thank you so much for your dedication and selfless service. Once again, I thank Governor Edward Kakembo Nsubga for inviting me. I also thank him for visiting us at Bulange soon after his inauguration. I'll be very glad to receive Governor Annie Nkutu, and I thank him for sharing with us his flagship program. Ladies and gentlemen, I now officially open the District 99th Conference. Thank you. You know, I associate with Rotarians a lot, but I've not yet gotten used to the abbreviations. Looks like every Rotarian has an abbreviation either after or before their names. I always get confused. You know, don't worry about my confusion. Just focus on my interest in you. God bless you all.
Thank you very much, our guest of honor. And the Rotary International President's personal representative has kindly requested that she gives a few remarks when you're still here, and then thereafter we shall have a photo moment and a vote of thanks. At this juncture, I would like to invite our Reaper, Brenda Cressy, to give her remarks. Thank you.
Good day, everyone. How do you follow the context of your speech today? Thank you so much, Prime Minister. It's a pleasure to be here in your audience. I want to first thank you all for the very warm welcome you have given me to Uganda, and especially to District 9213. But I also want to, with all protocols observed, acknowledge District Governor Edward and my aide, my wonderful aide, MD Jane. I'm so happy that our Rotary International President, Gordon McAnally, asked me to serve as his special representative to this area. I have so many friends here. I have new friends now, but I have a connection with Uganda in so many ways. One of them, of course, is the Makerere Peace Center that we were able to establish. So my dear friends, Rotarians, Rotaractors, our dignitaries, and special guests, I asked you last evening to think about this question. What is your passion? What is your passion in Rotary? And I mentioned also that my passion in Rotary is the connection. We witnessed last evening a unique and very creative expression about our 7 areas of focus. I loved it. Thank you so much. I congratulate the team and the clubs who were able to showcase the power of the work that can be addressed, due in part to our commitment and your support. I recall attending my first district conference many years ago, and I'll always remember it. And I'll always remember how I felt when leaving there. It was a feeling of being part of something bigger, something beyond the club walls where I met each week. So yes, the district conference is a time to celebrate. And we're going to celebrate an extraordinary year of service under the leadership of District Governor Edward and all of his club presidents. What a wonderful and fantastic group you are. So thank you to the members of this district. You know, together we have found a way to create hope in the world throughout our motto of service above self. And District Governor Edward asked me to share my thoughts about the power of giving. And I must say that as a very strong supporter of our Rotary Foundation, I was thrilled with the suggestion to open up this dialogue with you today. But first, you only have a few days of this conference. The conference invites you to be engaged and to allow you to meet new friends and to see your old friends. You will have an abundance of opportunities to learn from each other, be inspired and motivated by the speakers and all of those wonderful breakout sessions we have coming up. But with that said, I doubt that you will have gathered all sorts of new ideas. You will be inspired. You will be motivated to reach higher, to aim higher, and perhaps even dream about new ways that you can personally make a difference. As such, today isn't the time for long speeches or extensive foundation updates. I'm not doing that. But today does provide me with an opportunity to thank each of you, to thank you, the dreamers and the doers. Today, I am in the company of many dreamers and many doers, and I'm honored and humbled to be in your presence. So in other words, I stand before you, some of our foundation's strongest supporters. Be it your humanitarian work, you have chosen to make the Rotary Foundation your foundation. It will continue to be strong and relevant because of you. Our collective gifts will continue to do good in the world, both today and long into the future. And I am so pleased to see that this great district in Uganda is fully supporting the next generation of Rotarians with our Rotaractors. These young, these young, energetic dreamers and doers are ready to take our mission statement in true form, adapting to the changing times. Please know that I admire the quality of thinking and leading in new ways that are impactful in today's world. I acknowledge each of you as true partners in service. Today we see a world where people unite and take action around the globe in our communities and in ourselves. And everyone here today, for one reason or another, has a personal commitment to serve others. And I think it's safe to say that your service has not always led you to the path of least resistance. Because let's face it, service is hardly simple. It requires time, your resources, your sacrifices, and especially your hard work. But you have chosen to take the path through this amazing organization that we know as Rotary. And what makes the projects, the early morning or late evening meetings, and those after-work obligations worth it? For me, again, it's the connection. It's about building bridges across the borders of culture, language, and religion, and it's about the people, the opportunity to serve others and to serve for others. I have found that giving yields joy, large and unexpected joy. It creates a meaning in our lives and it gives us purpose. And it provides clarity for what is really important in our world. And I know that you all share the same sentiment as well. Think about this fact. A woman dies every 2 minutes from pregnancy or birth complications. Almost 95% of all maternal deaths occur in low-income countries. And sadly, I learned in 2020 alone, an estimated 2.5 million newborns died worldwide. This can't be. 34 years ago, I joined Rotary. I joined Rotary then because I was so impressed by the work of the foundation and its #1 focus of the eradication of polio. And all this time later, I remain equally impressed and impassioned about the work of our foundation, if not more so. I have witnessed life-changing projects around the globe, and they only happened because of one person's dream and how they made that dream come true. Our foundation is the engine that drives our momentum for service. It's what levels the field among our Rotary clubs around the world, enabling us to bring help to where it's most needed. And let there be no doubt that you, each of you, are the fuel that keeps that Rotary engine going. My own commitment to the Rotary Foundation is due in large part, if not entirely, to people like you who imbue the foundation, innovation, and promise. And it's because of your tireless support, your steadfast commitment to make an impact. It's all infectious. No matter what area of focus is most dear to you, you have taken action, you have transformed lives, and you refuse to let differences divide us. Again, I'm truly humbled to be standing before you today. Leaders in the field, Rotarians, voices in humanity, let your voices be heard. The models of compassion and goodwill, creating hope in the world. Thank you for all you do to make Rotary a force of good in the world. And thank you for your generous support of the foundation. I'm truly looking forward to witnessing your energy and enthusiasm this week. I want to hear about your dreams, your new ideas. I want to understand your challenges, and I especially want to hear your successes so I can continue to tell your story around the world. This is a wonderful opportunity for all of us to share our experiences and look at the Rotary year ahead. What we accomplish together does indeed create hope in the world through the magic of Rotary. Today, I stand before a group of humanitarians who are always asking, how can I help? Who see no limits to the ways they can make an impact. Serving as your Rotary Foundation trustee and chair has given me true joy and an honor in knowing that our foundation is supported by people like yourself, individuals who consistently put their values and their beliefs into action. You have made service a way of life. You have made Rotary's mission part of your own personal mission. Everyone here has given in a multitude of ways, energy, enthusiasm, expertise, and financial support. You are the catalyst of life-changing projects. Let us celebrate our shared vision, achievements, and efforts. To all of you, you have accomplished and all the dreams that you have made possible by opening your hearts and for being a friend to anyone in need. Each of you demonstrates what we can achieve when we put hope into action. You remind us that a dream does not have to be synonymous with a fantasy, but dreams can take the form of real progress in communities. When confronted with a challenge, you see a possibility. You remain undaunted by some of the most pressing humanitarian challenges of our day. Extreme poverty, conflict, sickness. These issues are real, and they won't be solved overnight. But by answering the call to service and action, you have chosen to become part of the solution. And you are inspiring others to explore their own ability to affect positive change. The collective power and the potential represented in this room tonight to create positive change, for me, is highly inspirational. Because it's only with your collaborative spirit, your dedication, your shared vision, that we can see a brighter tomorrow. The Rotary Foundation will and continue to look forward to another 100 years plus of doing good in the world. You know, today is our founder's birthday. 156 years ago, our founder, Paul Harris, was born. He then, when he created the structure of our Rotary organization, it was really a call to action. So I would like to ask you to consider me here standing in front of you today a call to action for each of you to celebrate his birthday by making a special gift to the Rotary Foundation to commemorate that day. Whether it's to end polio or a gift to our annual fund that allows us to do all these amazing projects, any way that you decide to support our founder's birthday will be appreciated, and it will allow us to do great things. So there you have it. On behalf of all of the trustees of the Rotary Foundation, our extraordinary Rotary International President, Gordon McAnally, and past president Barry Rassin, who is the current chair of the foundation. I am here to say thank you. Thank you, thank you for your service and your tremendous support. Have a wonderful day. Thank you.
Especially of assignment. I'm excited in many ways. Owekitiibwa, our guest of honor, Charles Peter Mayiga, you said talking about mindset change is a waste of time to a starving person. And our Rotary International President's personal representative has been talking to us about mindset change. What you don't know, colleagues, and forgive me if I'm a bit emotional at this point in time, that has made an endowment of $250,000 share to our district in perpetuity. Let every good man raise his helmet and glove. Viva la Rotary, to carry a message of service and love. Viva la Rotary, oh, oh. Wangala, Wangala Rotary, Wangala, Wangala Rotary, Mumazima no kwagala. Wangala Rotary, the girl with a smile is the lady we need. Wangala Rotary, who lends us the name to the saying of greed. Wangala Rotary, Meno, Wangala, Wangala Rotary, Wangala, Wangala Rotary. Mumazima no kwagala, Wangala Rotary. Thank you, Brenda. Thank you very much. My main task is honorable, is to recognize and thank our guest of honor. Ochitiibwa, you are blessed in a way because you have got a naturalized Musoga, Bob Wagwansibirwa. Who went to Muiri introducing you? Then you have got another Musoga giving a vote of thanks. That is something very rare. But colleagues, you know, times have changed and the world has changed when an engineer gives a vote of thanks to a lawyer. You know, times have changed and the world has changed when a man from Busoga gives a vote of thanks to the Katikkiro of Uganda. These are different times, colleagues, but we celebrate them together. Owekitiibwa, sorry I say Owekitiibwa because you don't understand the impact of that word. Owekitiibwa actually means glorious. It's about the position, the representation of His Majesty the Kabaka of Uganda. And that is why they are called glorious, because the office is glorious. The king does not engage us. He engages us through the Katikkiro. He does not speak on behalf of the king. He speaks for the king. Those two things are different. We are therefore honored by your presence. I should mention that I was a bit horrified this morning because somebody said Dorcas is married to another man. That lady of the Fumbe clan, Katichiro, is married to me. I'm her husband. I've even been to Baka to show that I really appreciate her. Gali nye Baka, amafumbe. Ebaka basengejja. Serukoza akoza, alikoza muye fumbe. So colleagues, let me get on with my job, which is to thank our guest of honor. The Baganda say, or the Basoga who live in Buganda say, akudira muyimba. So I don't intend to repeat what you said because you talked about the congruence of the Buganda Kingdom and Rotary. And we should appreciate that because everything you said holds to that. You talked about the different things you're involved in. You talked about keeping hope alive. Maybe this is why I'm giving a vote of thanks because my name Tusuvira means we hope. So I'm here keeping hope alive for Rotary by virtue of my name. Hope, the fuel that keeps people going. You know, when everything has run out, hope keeps us going. And these are important messages. You mentioned the responsible male. And I wonder sometimes, Katichiro, where does the irresponsible young people come from, the irresponsible young men? Maybe, just maybe, it's from irresponsible fathers. And I see many of them in this room. So hopefully, okay, let's be serious about this. You know, as we say, it's not about the words we talk, it's not about the ideas and so on. We must get into activities. But truly, I believe, colleagues, that ideas and activities have been talked about by many people. It's the quality and the caliber of the people who talk about these ideas and talk about activities. I've listened to OHT Katichiro since he assumed that office. I've known all of them since Kabaka Mwenda Mutebi came back. I know all of them personally. I've not had the chance to meet you personally yet, even if I've met informally at some places. But you personalize the kind of leader we need in Uganda. People who are forthright and will say it as it is without trying to hide behind words. Now, we sometimes hide behind political language, political parties, and we fail to face the truth. But we need more of us willing to stand up and say the truth in any forum and say this has got to stop and something has got to change. And therefore, your ideas, OHT, were fall on very fertile ground, not because you say the words, because behind those words stands a man of respect, not just in Uganda, but across Uganda. Like I said, from Soga to honor a Katichiro means that I really feel it from the heart. I truly mean that, OHT. I think it was Emerson who said, don't tell me things, because who you are stands the while and stands over you so that I cannot hear a single word you say. Your character, Katichiro, means that we shall listen to every word you said, and we shall be the change that you have inquired or required us to be. Thank you very much. And therefore, on behalf of Rotary District 9213, and if I may dare, since some of us were governors before the district became smaller, on behalf of 9214 and 9212 as well, we thank you and call for people like you to get into leadership so that we are inspired to really create change. We cannot trust politicians anymore to create change, colleagues. That is a fact. I've said that in many fora and I'll say it here, because politics, it used to be said to be a dirty game, but nowadays it is truly a dirty game. If we want our country to survive and revive, we must be forthright and follow what the Katichiro says and what he does. Can I request that we thank the Katichiro with our most generous hand clap? Thank you. Yes. May I request two people to come up? Actually, three people. Owechitibwa Katichiro, please come up. Rotary International President's personal representative, the most senior Rotarian on our continent right now. Please come up. Now we are going to give a gift to the Katichiro through the Reaper. Bob, we cannot give boxes with unknown things, so you have to come and check what is inside, and then we shall hand them over, please. The naturalized Musoga, Owechitibwa Robert Wagwansibirwa. I am going to invite the governor to come up also. You know, this lady has done us great. No, you don't wake up every morning and give away $250,000. So I think as the governor passes on presents to her, we all need to stand up once again and recognize her generosity. Abasoka mulya mukube kumizira. Ka Brenda, ka Edward.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back from that wonderful morning session. I hope we found it beneficial. I hope we are still creating hope in the world, in our country today. So as the rest bid farewell to our guest of honor, we will continue with the rest of the program. We do appreciate your patience and for allowing us to switch up the program a bit, but going forward, we will try and keep it up as it was before. So the next sessions are very interesting. We are going to listen to a couple of different speakers on different topics. So I'll request that we settle down as well. Please do not exit. We are still continuing with the program. So for the next session, as per our program, it is on mental health, and this will be done by Rotarian Grace Bikumbi. So we all know that we celebrate the World Mental Health Day in October, and the theme The last theme was, okay, the last theme was mental health is everyone's right. It is a universal right. So our speaker is going to tell us more about this as we create hope through mental health. And we all know that it is also the theme for Rotary International for this Rotary year. So I will introduce our guest speaker as he comes to the front. Grace Bikumbi is a clinical psychologist, an addiction and mental health specialist. He has worked in the mental health and substance use section at the Butabika National Referral Mental Hospital for the last 15 years. Grace is an international certified addiction professional and has undertaken training in drug demand reduction and clinical care for women with substance use disorders, among others. He holds a master's degree in clinical psychology from Makerere University. Can I have an annulation from the OBs of Makerere University? Quite many in the room. A postgraduate diploma in addiction psychiatry from the University of Utah, and a master's degree in policy and organization management from Chambogo University. Grace has been a member of the International Society of Substance Abuse Professionals since 2017 and is currently a PhD fellow focusing on addiction prevention, treatment, and management. He heads the Kampala Youth Recovery Foundation, which is a non-government organization that rehabilitates and skills the ghetto youth. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Rotarian Grace Bikumbi. Yes.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, I thank you all. Thank you, Rotarians, for turning up today. And thank you for turning up in big numbers. I'm an addiction specialist and mental health specialist for the last 15 years, as she has said it all. And also with my bias in addiction medicine and prevention. Dear our visiting Rotarian, the eldest Rotarian in the family, these are all Rotarians that have actually worked towards appraising mental health in the country. As I talk, they'll be flipping a little slides, and I'll be actually following the slides on mental health versus mental illness. Mental health and mental illness are different things. With mental health is the well-being of an individual or person. And then mental illness is the real illness. So I don't want us always to confuse that. When someone has good mental health, we're able to function, we're able to work, and we're able to do things better. When someone has mental illness, then it has progressed the disease. Continue. That has already been mentioned. Can we flip the slides? Mental health might occur due to burnout, as all of us know, mental exhaustion, physical fatigue and grief, and then physical health condition is stress and financial problems. You know very well if you are financially distressed, if you have lost a job, you have burnout at work. I think most of us are working in big offices. There's a lot of issues that happen. So if you don't take care of ourselves, we can easily get mental illness. But to mention, Uganda is ranked among the top 6 countries in Africa with depression. But not only that, by July 2022, the estimated incidence of mental illness was massive with 35%. Not only that, 5.1 of females and 3.6 of males suffer from mental-related disorders. which I don't put there, or some slide that I didn't put there, is also drug addiction. All of us here know very well that in the country, Uganda is, in Africa, is the leading country in consuming alcohol. We're actually taking the lead in consuming alcohol and substances in Africa. This is not something just to actually be proud of, but it is somehow affecting families, affecting homes, affecting work and individuals all over. I want to echo that as we adopt from Rotarian Gordon, the country Uganda and the Rotarians you see here have actually massively come up, and about 70 clubs have participated in different, have involved in the mental health campaigns. They have also participated fully in the World Mental Health Day, which we actually celebrated last year, and actually most of these clubs, most of these members took part. But also, Rotary, this district has come up with different partners after hearing the call from the RIP President, Gordon, that they have now partnered with National Referral Mental Hospitals, where I work particularly myself for the last 15 years, but also have formulated mental health body groups that are running in the country, and also visiting and supporting mental health patients that are undergoing through trouble, but also conducting health camps everywhere. I thank you, Rotarians, and thank you for continuing to support mental health. I'll talk about it as we continue. This is one of the press conference on the World Mental Health Day. These are Rotarians among us that really participated, and all of you participated. Ministry of Health is one of the collaborators, Abutabika Hospital, Regional Referral Hospital, Rehabilitation Centers, and media. And now Rotary has also come on board to engage with Parliament. Myself, I'm a Rotarian, and I've been in Parliament several times. Also among formulation of bills, even the current bill that is running, I've been part and primal with Rotarian Honorable Pendi on the alcohol control bill. Don't arrest me here for those who enjoyed that night. That was social, possibly, but we don't want to really say. But also the drug and substance control bill that was signed of recent by the President of Uganda to eliminate the continuous use of substances, the drugs that is really taking our community. That was a visit in Butabika by the Rotarian with the DJ. And then in the World Mental Health Day, some members were honored, including the late Mungerera, Dr. Mungerera, who was a very mighty. Can we clap for that mighty lady who passed on? She was very, very key in mental health, and also some people were awarded, including the PS for Ministry of Health, that have really now tried to put effort in mental illness and increasing the budgets of mental health. So, what are some of these issues that we have? Stigma, violence, coercion, right decision-making, mental health systems, and alcohol and substance use, very, very key to leading us to mental illness. What should we do? We are here. We are a group of people here. We are Rotarians. We have done something so far. I am happy for the RI President for bringing mental health on board. Before you, mental health was neglected. It is one of the neglected areas that people don't actually pay attention to. But let me tell you, all of us are candidates of mental-related disorders, including some of us here might be battling with depression, battling with anxiety, not leaving aside substance use issues and problems. What should we do? Let's get organized in groups, and we've started. Let's self-care, seeking help. Ourselves, we should seek for help, be at the forefront. And as you see, different clubs have been on the forefront of recent. They have actually gone ahead by going to meeting women, meeting men, and talking to them about mental health and improving on their mental health-related issues. Target social influences and also focus on nature of social relationships, but also increase mental literacy. Let's start a change. Let's Rotary clubs, workplace, Rotary, involve church leaders. I'm happy that Rotarian is here and different Rotary clubs have now involved church leaders and actually are going to schools and singing the song of mental health. We are happy and we continue to pray that this continues because mental health is wealth. If your mental health is not better, then you are not wealthy. Let's join hands together. Sorry, someone flipping the slides. Let's join hands together. Continue. Let's join hands together. That was a visit to Tabika, and I appreciate the Centenary Bank that is also helping us in this. Let's continue. Mental health is an area that has been neglected by many for too long because of stigma. Let me tell you, most of us here are battling. Most of our families are battling. Most of our families and children are battling with substance use disorders, but because we fear. People fear to relate with anything called mental health disorder. What is my cry here? Men, let's rise up. Let's put on our shoes, just as we've been supporting the Polio Plus, because if we don't actually get out of our comfort zones more and more, and also follow the call for the RIP president, then we are nowhere. I appreciated the boy-child campaign and girl-child campaign. You can't only raise the girl and leave the boy aside. The boy in Uganda is now in substances. If you moved in ghettos around Uganda, they have turned into drug use. And these are turning to be hardcore criminals that are robbing people on streets of Kampala, that are actually involving two different criminal games here and there. Betting, they're into betting everywhere because they have been neglected. So, in conclusion, mental health is an area that has been neglected, and as we flip the slide, you are never alone in Rotary. Together we can support one another, our loved ones, our clubs, and our community. And I quoted this from RIP Gordon, the Rotary president. What do I say here? Let's wake up. Let's rise up. Mental health is wealth. If you came here and you are distressed, if you came here and you have issues disturbing you at home, you cannot concentrate here. If you went at work and you have issues that are disturbing you, trust me, even your level of concentration is down. You cannot perform. You're going to be you're going to have a lot of work around you, and there's nothing you're going to perform. What will happen? You're going to switch to depression. You're going to go to depression. So, my cry is, as we continue to support other areas in health, as we continue to support HIV, as we continue to support polio plus, if the Katiklo was still here, I'd quoted something that I want next year's 70th run for the Kabaka to be a cry for mental health. To be a call that lets people run for mental health. And then our work is prevention. Why? Because prevention is better than cure. Ladies and gentlemen, fellow Rotarians and Rotaractors, and our senior Rotarian who has actually given us almost to 1 billion shillings today, we thank you so much, and we appreciate that you've at least given hope to the Rotarians of Uganda and to the District 9213. I thank you so much. We shall continue chatting more, and for any mental-related issues, any mental-related discussion, I am here to stay. I'm always on radios. Let's keep the fire burning. Mental health is wealth for God and my country. I thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Rotarian Grace.
You're welcome.
As he mentioned, mental health is wealth. And I will also tag on that and keep saying health. All health is wealth. So on that note, I request that we stand up. We're going to have a short fitness check. The mind only works when the entire body is also working. It sends the signals. So let's please stand up, get on our feet.
May we stand up. After mental health lecture, we raise our hands. We've sat for too long. both of them. And we keep smiling. We keep smiling as Rotarians who serve humanity. Do this every other time when you're tired. As the speaker said, mental health is a problem in a new community. I'm counting 1. We keep the smile. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Put your hands together like this. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So we do 1 round like this. We go, all of us. Allow blood circulation to move. He said health is wealth. We put hands up front. Hands up front. We keep our smiles. Enjoy it, come on, Jaja Musungu. Hands here in the waist, hands in the waist. I'll count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All of us looking our palms. We're looking our palms, everybody. In the palms. That's good. That's exclusive there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Move your body, everybody, with happiness. Warm greetings from the Rotary Club of Campus Central. Okay, stop. Shoulders here. Okay, clap for yourselves. Clap for yourselves. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. That was Coach Bob for you. He is also a Rotarian, Robert Sebugwaro. He prefers being called Coach Bob. So for those of you who lost your breath, are still catching it, tomorrow, let's make a date in the morning between 6 and 7:30. We have a lineup of physical activities. Let's go and get fit. Our health is wealth. So for the next session, and before I get into the next session, just a quick announcement. We're going to flip the program up a bit. Because of time, all the awards are going to happen during the lunch period when we move to the tent. I'd expect a hand clap for that. Thank you. Okay, so for our next session, we would like to recognize a platinum sponsor of ours, a sponsor, a partner that has walked the journey with us in fighting cancer. You can already tell who I'm inviting. Yes? Perfect. So yes, I will just read out a brief bio of our next speaker. That is the MD of Centenary Bank. MD in this case stands for both Managing Director and Major Donor. Lucky him, yes? Maybe the rest of the MDs in the room might pick a leaf. Okay, so our next speaker is Mr. Fabian Kasi. He's currently the Managing Director of Centenary Bank, and this is from the date of August 2010. He is also the founding CEO, the CEO of Summit Uganda, and the League of East African Directors. He is the president of the Uganda Institute of Banking and Financial Services. He is also the board chairman of the Buganda Broadcasting Corporation, an agent banking company of Uganda. He has a very wide profile, but I'm going to summarize it up with one of the most important things we'd like to hear, I'm certain. He's a past president of Rotary Club of Chiwatule, also a past assistant governor, and currently the chairman of Rotary Uganda Limited. So we're very honored to have you here join us today, Mr. Fabian Kasi.
Started when we opened our doors nearly 51 years ago, with our roots deeply placed in the Catholic Church. We set out with the sole purpose of being the best provider of financial services in a sustainable manner, especially microfinance, to all people, particularly in rural areas. Over the years, we've grown into Uganda's biggest and fastest growing bank, with an asset base of 6.4 trillion, serving over 3 million customers. And businesses in agriculture, microfinance sector, SMEs, women, youth and corporate segments. On our quest to drive financial inclusion, we've taken our bank closer to our customers with over 80 branches across the country and multiple banking channels, including over 7,400 agents, Center Mobile Banking, Center Online Banking, Center Visa Debit and Prepaid Cards, and MasterCard Platinum Debit Card. Over 3 million have written our story of becoming Uganda's biggest and fastest growing bank. The story continues.
Centenary Bank.
Centenary Bank is regulated by the Bank of Uganda. Customer deposits are protected by the Deposit Protection Fund of Uganda. Up to 10 million. Terms and conditions apply. Centenary Bank is a member of the Center Group.
Well, thank you very much. Everybody, fellow Rotarians, I want to observe all the protocol that was mentioned earlier on. It is always a pleasure and honor to be here, and we've always done this for the last 13 years, and we are honored. I want to bring you warm greetings to all of you from the Centenary Bank, the Centenary Group, our bank. And it is with great pleasure that I joined you today, along with a number of my colleagues. I lead a team of 3,200 staff, and some of them are here. I will request them possibly to stand up for recognition. We have general managers, we have, and all of them are Rotarians, and there are many others who haven't turned up. So it is always a pleasure to associate ourselves with the Rotary fraternity in Uganda. It is great to see Rotary standing strong today in this place, and I want to congratulate each one of us upon continuing to support humanitarian initiatives. Centenary Bank appreciates the Rotary leadership in Uganda and beyond for the noble acts of services you are championing under the different Rotary programs. We are proud to be part of the journey, as I said, for the last 13 years, as a major sponsor, and particularly for functions like these. And of course, thank you. In Uganda, there is a saying that mbulira gw'oyita naye empisa ze, and in English, you know, loosely translated that if you tell me the person you conduct your affairs with, I'll always tell you your character. And of course, as for Centenary Bank to associate with Rotary, that speaks volumes about the character of this institution, because it gels very well with those of the Rotary. And we are very happy to do that. And such humanitarian causes directly relate to our mission as a bank, where we seek to transform lives, especially for the rural poor, and indeed in a sustainable manner. Our bank has been growing communities and serving communities for the last 40 years due to the great value we attach to people. We shall continue putting funds at the service of people and the planet with like-minded partners like Rotary. And there is a small presentation we want to make. I have only 10 minutes to make this, and I'll do that gladly. That's a highlight of what we want to present, what we are, and so on. Of course, this is a bank that has been serving communities for the last 40 years, and last year we celebrated 40 years of service. And when we talk about the theme of keeping hope alive, I think this bank has been keeping hope of Ugandans alive, and continues to do that. We've also become part of a group. We have the Center Group, which encompasses a number of arms. We have Center Foundation. We have a Center Technology Company, technology to serve the entire ecosystem. And we have a facilities management system. And we also an indigenous bank or institution that has an establishment out of the country, because we recently set up a subsidiary in Malawi, and we'll continue to do that. That's a highlight of the various things, channels that we use to serve. 80 branches, 207 ATMs, over 3 million customers, and I talked about the staff that support this infrastructure. We will be setting up, and as we continue, we'll be setting up new footprints, again, as we'll see going forward. Let's quickly run. Next. We do a number of things for which we are proud. Leaders in the microfinance, commercial bank, one of the largest taxpayer in Uganda. I think last year we paid taxes of over 250 billion to the government. Largest employer in the country, 3,260, on top of the other employments that have been created through the agent network. Lending quite aggressively to agriculture, which is the bedrock of our economy. Extension in the foreign market, I've already mentioned that. And most importantly, we focus on the triple bottom line, the people, the planet, and profits. Of course, we don't do business for the sake of it, but it's more to that, because at the end of the day, it is the sustainability of everybody that we are looking at. Just a quick highlight of how we have been performing. Again, thanks to all of you. You've supported us, and we hope will continue supporting us. Those are some of the numbers, the way they've been growing. If you can move on. Loans, total deposits, these are your liabilities. These are your deposits that you keep with us, and we thank you very much for trusting us. We do pledge that we'll continue to keep your money very, very safely. Number of branches, ATMs, number of employees. Again, these are the numbers. And as you can see, there has been quite a big focus on digital, mobile banking subscribers, of almost 1 million of them, center agents, the people that serve us wherever you are. And as I said, we are not just a financial institution, but we seek to transform lives. And again, as you can see, that speaks to the ideals of Rotary all over the world. We contribute to SDGs, again, in many ways. And as you can see on the next slide, you will see, you know, we talk about ending poverty. We talk about achieving food security. All the things we do speak to these goals, good health and well-being. You've seen us participate quite aggressively in the various health initiatives of Rotary, and that's how we've come to be part of the cancer eradication initiatives, and we are very proud of that. Quality of education, we deal with schools, and it's good to see proprietors of schools here and as Rotarians, because we work very, very closely with them. Let's move to the next slide. Gender equality, almost half of the people that work at this institution are ladies, and we are determined to continue growing that number. Clean water and sanitation, we do deal in this. Affordable and clean energy, solar, renewable energy, these are all things that underpin the kind of work and lending that we do. Decent work is our interest, climate action, and life on land, where we are involved in planting trees and quite a number of things. And as you can see, we kind of speak to the 7 avenues of Rotary. Global Alliance for Banking on Values, this is a global organization, and these are the things that drive our operation: really economic, client-centered, long-term resilience. And as you've seen from the numbers, this is an institution that is sustainable and is able to continue doing what it is doing. Move on. Various recognitions, of course. Again, you are the ones who recognize us. Those are the various recognitions that we've had. And we continue to be recognized on a number of fronts. And we thank you very much. Let's move on. We've been partnering with Rotary, as I said, for the last 30 years, very, very aggressively in various ways. And as you can see, we've been part of all those things, those initiatives that Rotary has come up with. And as I said, we will continue as an institution to be part of the work that Rotary does in this country and in the world. Of course, as we do that, we want to have Rotarians also come and feel value, you know, things that you can get from us. And these are some of them: investment clubs, circles, you know, loans, financial literacy opportunities, and so many others. And we want to call upon you to come and join us, come and be part of us in this journey. And when you become part of us, as somebody said, you will definitely be sorted. And this is what we aim to do. And I guess that is it. We want to thank you once again, and we want to pledge, as I said, and as we usually say, we want to pledge to continue being part of the work that Rotary does in this country. I want to thank you very much. Thank you.
The center story started when we opened our doors nearly 41 years ago, with our roots deeply placed in the Catholic Church. We set out with the sole purpose of being the best provider of
another round of applause, surely, for one of the partners that keeps saying yes to us.
To all people, particularly in rural areas. Over the years, we've grown into Uganda's biggest and fastest growing bank, with an asset base of 6.4 trillion, serving over 3 million customers, and businesses in agriculture, microfinance sector, SMEs, women, youth and corporate segments. On our quest to drive financial inclusion, we've taken our bank closer to our customers with over 80 branches across the country and multiple banking channels, including over 7,400 agents, Center Mobile Banking, Center Online Banking, Center Visa Debit and Prepaid Cards, and MasterCard Platinum Debit Card.
Over 3 million have written our story
of becoming Uganda's biggest and fastest growing bank. The story continues.
Centenary Bank.
Centenary Bank is regulated by the Bank of Uganda. Customer deposits are protected by the Deposit Protection Fund of Uganda. Up to 10 million. Terms and conditions apply. Centenary Bank is a member of the Center Group.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, so for our next session, a keynote speech. However, it's not my job to introduce the next person. The job is for somebody else, another district leader. So I will invite the district governor nominee, Geoffrey Chitakule. DGN is district governor nominee. We are trying to do away with the acronyms for our dear friends who might not know, yeah? But feel free to also tell your neighbor.
Thank you very much. All protocol observed. My role is to introduce our keynote speaker, Catherine Maranga. Catherine Maranga is an accomplished technology leader who is passionate about applying technology to create positive business outcomes and impact lives. With a career spanning over 2 decades, she has demonstrated exceptional competence and innovation in the IT landscape. Her experience spans across different sectors, ranging from manufacturing, aviation, banking, and technology, where she is now. Academic background, she's a STEM graduate, and I'll explain what I mean by STEM later. She holds a bachelor's degree in computer science from African Israeli University. And she committed to continue learning. She's also a graduate of the FinTech program from Oxford Saidi Business School, and also a graduate of Digital Strategies program from Columbia University in the United States. Her current role at Microsoft Africa. Before that, she was the head of engineering at Stanbic Kenya and South Sudan. She has made her mark as director of IT and operations at CDN Bank before she moved on her roles. Indeed, Catherine's career is a statement of professional competence, as her role as a trailblazer in technology and building innovation, developing technology solutions, and most important, nurturing talent. Her work has involved spearheading collaborations with governments, universities, and local communities, and most important, through that, empowering developers, entrepreneurs, and business across Africa. And I can really testify that nobody in Africa here, and even in this room, can do without Microsoft. Catherine's leadership extends increasing and supporting women in technology and students pursuing STEM. STEM stands for science, technology, engineering, and mathematics related courses. This has helped her to align her belief in the power of mentorship and community building, support women in achieving their goals, especially in science. Catherine's journey and achievements serve as an inspiration, highlighting the impact of technology leadership and the importance of mentoring not only young girls, but including tech in every industry. And those efforts have significantly contributed to the shaping of technology in Africa. Please stand with me and welcome Catherine to speak to us how technology is impacting Africa. Thank you.
Oh, okay. I'd like to move around. Yeah. Thank you so much for that introduction. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. First of all, I must say this is my first Rotary event, and I'm so excited. I loved the vibe yesterday. I was whispering to my colleague, I chose this, yellow is very vibrant, to mirror the energy that I felt last evening and today. So I'm really excited, deeply honored and humbled to be invited to share remarks, Caroline, on a topic, an area that I'm deeply passionate about, artificial intelligence. And as I was seated here, I see convergence. Yes, I come from the world of technology. I work for Microsoft. Microsoft was started 47 years ago this month by two gentlemen, Bill Gates and the late Paul Allen. And I believe all of us are Microsoft customers. I head the organization that does software engineering in Kenya, and we develop some of the products that customers such as yourselves and others globally use. But today it's about AI. I don't like assuming, if you ask people on the streets of Uganda or any African country what AI means, you'll get varied responses, especially those with an inclination in agriculture. Do you agree? Because it means something totally different. If you could go to the next slide. This is a brief of the organizations that I've been blessed to work with. And the gentleman who gave my introduction did a fantastic job. But more importantly, I draw your attention, before you go to the next slide, there's a little icon there written, I am a lifelong learner. I want you to hold on to that as I proceed with my presentation. This afternoon, I'll go through what is artificial intelligence, how do I understand it, how did we get here, and also look at it in terms of what is our readiness from an Africa perspective. Should we think about it? Should we worry about it? What are we doing as Africa Development Center? And how are we thinking in terms of impacting Africa's growth? And I see convergence. I see the message is about keeping hope alive. When I'm invited to speak, I always say I'm a chief hope officer. And I'll explain later. So I've told you to hold on to two things. I'm a lifelong learner, and what? Chief Hope Officer. I think I'm the last speaker before lunch, so I really have to engage people, so work with me. And then lastly, just to invite you to think about what is your input or your contribution. If we go to the next slide, it's very easy to imagine artificial intelligence is out there, amorphous and away. Ladies and gentlemen, these two images, there are 3 Catherines on stage. Please tell me the real one. I'll start with this side. Which is the real Catherine? Please go back to the previous slide. 2 are in an outfit in green, and this one is in yellow. Which is the real one, this side? The guitar. So yellow and guitar. This side? Yellow. The guitar. All of them. It's the one on stage. Thing about artificial intelligence. At times we think it's out there. Is it with us? Is it just technology coming from the West? These images were generated by somebody in my office who took a photo. You see the same way this flyer is advertising that I'm a Keynote. Took a photo, fed it to an app readily available on the Play Store, and generated these images. There's also another similar images representing me as a Yoruba woman. The power of technology. So what exactly is artificial intelligence? You can go to the next slide. At the heart of it is machines learning by analyzing data. You feed data. For example, you take a bottle. This is data. You tell the machine, this is a bottle. If you turn it like this, it's still a bottle. If you remove the top, it's still a bottle, whether it has water or not. But now you keep changing it. Let it learn that it's still a bottle. Essentially, that is what AI is. Machines learning by analyzing data. And think about it in terms of the industry you represent. Whether NGO, government, financial services, everybody is producing data. Even in this conference, we are producing data. How many are connected on the Wi-Fi? We are generating data. By virtue of registering today, that is data. The communities you're impacting, a lot of data. So when we feed that to machines, we come out with AI models, artificial intelligence models. Think about it like Excel on steroids. Very loosely translated. But how did we get here? Next slide, please. Let's take a walk down memory lane. You know, every time there's a revolution, history does tell us. People always ask questions. This new revolution, will it take away jobs? I was having a chat here with the country director of MasterCard Foundation, and he was sharing with me, with every revolution, he looks at it with the lens of there's risk and there's opportunity. History does tell us many years ago, when factories used to use steam for production, and somebody discovered electricity, similar questions emerged. Will electricity kill us? Can electricity kill? Yes, if mishandled. But I also read it took 50 years to really drive adoption of electricity. 50 years. Because they had to figure out, yes, you've discovered the, let me call it the technology, but how do we use it? It really blew in scale in terms of usability once somebody figured out its distribution. And even at the time, they were asking questions around, how do we regulate it? Do we need to regulate it? As an example. And then there was this whole move from, what is the benefit of producing, running factories on steam vis-a-vis electricity? Now electricity, it brought in a component, people could work on shifts, meaning more jobs. But also there was a downside. And this is mainly in the US, the data I'm representing. A lot of migration from people working in the farms, because we all want a better life, so to take up jobs. The next revolution, the third revolution, introduced automated production thanks to technology, computers. And if you think about the origin of Microsoft, things that Bill Gates have done, or Steve Jobs, putting computers in our pockets. If you think about the third revolution, our phones today are so powerful. And then we shifted to another revolution, cloud. And at times people also think cloud is out there. How many have a Gmail address? Yahoo, Hotmail. You know, Yahoo and Hotmail also tells your age, eh? But that is cloud, right? And now we have AI. And what is the connection with all this? When the internet came to be, there were concerns. Will the internet take away our jobs? What is the impact of the internet on education? But look at what has happened today. So many jobs have been created thanks to the internet. Social media influencers. Look at how it has influenced the creative economy and many others. Cloud. Cloud computing is essentially you're using somebody else's computer. It's essentially that. You're using Microsoft's computer, Google's computer, Amazon's computer. All you care about, when you switch on your laptop, you start a Gmail here, you go to your smartphone, it is the same. All you care about as a user is uptime or a business. But now with AI, AI has come at a time. It's leveraging internet, cloud, because cloud gives you massive computing. Therefore, you can process huge amounts of data. Remember I said AI at the very layman stage, machines analyzing data. And you need huge computing capability to analyze massive, massive data sets. Let me give you an example of massive data sets. Imagine with me how many government agencies have your national ID. All of them, and they can fit more than 5. Imagine somebody centrally sitting to analyze data to give a better representation of Catherine just by my national ID. You need a lot of computing power. Or if you're doing that for the working class of a nation, imagine 10 million people. You cannot do that with your little server, no disrespect, in your server room. You need huge, huge computing capability. So there's been a lot of concern in terms of, will AI take away jobs? I submit, and many authors have, what will take away jobs is another individual who has learned how to work with AI. That is the person who will take away your job. Or, and AI is touching all fields, education, healthcare, you name it. The people who will win, there was talk about a powerful word, mindset, and I love that. The people who will win will be those who maintain a lifelong learning mindset. Next slide, please. But what's the landscape in Africa? There's a New York Times article, that's titled, "The World is Becoming More African." Please use your favorite search engine and look for it. Just read it. It submits that 1 in 4 people in the year 2050 will be African. Yes, by the year 2050, 1 in 4 people will be African. It also and then I read also another report, for example, and even before I go to that other report, you may have noticed how the world is shifting, and previous speakers have talked about the promise, the demographic dividend we have in Africa. Notice how, for those who travel, there's a time I was traveling to Abu Dhabi, on board a Qatar Airways flight, as we were boarding, I was listening to Burna Boy music. I'm like, hey, our time has come. Oh. It is African music playing at an international stage. Another time I'm seated in a restaurant in Seattle, and I'm not bragging, I am just submitting that our time has come. I'm enjoying a meal, and I could hear a song that had hit by a Kenyan artist called Mwaki. The song is called Mwaki. I forget the name of the artist. So let me go back to statistics. I love data. New York Times article, "The World is Becoming More African." Please take that as homework. 2 weeks ago, a Kenyan organization called KHALA, Q-H-A-L-A, they released a report in terms of the youth readiness in Eastern Africa to get on the digital bandwagon. Remember, I've walked you down the memory lane. They submit, for example, their categorization of youth is 18 to 35 years. Kenya has 16 million youth. Uganda, 14.3. Tanzania, 17 million. DRC, 25.3. And that's why I loved this topic, the world of AI, IT transforming Africa. So as you reflect on those statistics that I've shared, in my next slides, I'll give a perspective. How should we think about it from a government perspective or an enterprise? I thought that broadly covers the audience today. If you could go to the next slide. From a government perspective, Oxford University published a report, and you can also search for it, Government AI Readiness Index, either 2022 or 2023. They use the same parameters. Broadly, as a government, does a government have a vision on AI strategy? Does a government have a vision? Remember I talked about to really reap the benefits of AI, we need cloud, because we need to really assess a lot of huge data set. Does a government have a strategy on cloud? Or is there fear in terms of data sovereignty? And I often joke and say, a lot of government officials, there's concern in terms of, oh, this data is from the country, but then you find they're using @gmail.com. I will leave that there. Another area governments have really, they look at in terms of a parameter to check about readiness. Who in government, either government itself or partnering with the private sector, to look at what are the things we need to be mindful of from an ethics or regulation perspective. I will give you an example. Still on privacy, data matters. How do we ensure, if we are to borrow from Europe, for example, GDPR, please search for it. It's about laws and regulations just governing the privacy of data. Should we always cut and paste? In my view, it's a no, because there are things that are unique to us as Africans. For example, there's a European country, it is very okay to publish salaries for any role. Imagine if in Africa you published salaries of everyone. The mayhem, the challenges. That's why it can't always be cut and paste. Let me move to the other pillars. This report also assesses what is the technology sector from a country perspective. And this is an area of interest to me, zeroing in on human capital. What is the skill set in a country to really take advantage of the digital revolution? What is a critical mass? How many people are graduating from university taking STEM-related courses or tertiary institutions? How much of technology course is taught in primary or high school? What is the internet connectivity in a country? And what is its affordability, as an example? And I've touched on both technology and data and infrastructure. How easy is it to get a gadget? How easy is it to get a desktop or a laptop? And so those are some of the things this report looks at. The next slide provides, it might appear small, but if you download the report, it will give you a very good view, even where Uganda and Kenya stands. The country that is leading there is Mauritius, and it's because it has an AI strategy. I know today Rwanda also has an AI strategy. Nigeria and Kenya are also engaging. And whichever country you come from, my challenge and ask to you, whether you're in the world of, are you a lawyer? Are you in the civil society space? Even faith. There's a place for faith and AI. Because you might start asking questions around, questions have emerged. If these machines will start imitating how humans think or do imagine robots, are they going to take over human conscience? As an example. So let's continue engaging governments in terms of AI readiness, because we cannot afford to be left behind. If you consider the youth statistics that I've just shared, how are we equipping the next set of the adults in the room to really participate in this digital revolution? The beauty about this revolution, we all stand a chance, unlike previously, because majority of the world is at ground zero. The ones who are a bit ahead is China and the US. But who has more numbers? If in 2051, in 4 people in the world will be African, we do. This next chart, the next slide, it's AI readiness from an organization perspective, and the parameters are similar. Whichever organization you represent, what is the talent? What skills do you have? And you might think, is this a preserve only for people in technology? No. HR, marketing, sales, all sectors will be impacted by AI. And you might wonder, so where do we start? For example, Microsoft has a site called Microsoft Learn. We have so many courses, and guess what? They are for free. And even as you sign up, you can indicate, are you basic, intermediate, are you an expert? Free learning. Second thing, there's always that, when you look at, and I'm going to look internally in terms of tech professionals, there's always that hesitation in terms from a business perspective. Why are you driving us to the next big technology thing? Is it a new shiny thing? What is the business value? So it's always good to assess, fine, we have this new technology, but what value is it bringing to the business? And also data. Many organizations have data, but is that data usable? Is it usable? Do we collect data, first of all, with the hygiene of, am I collecting too much data? Or am I collecting just enough? How am I storing this data? Am I exposing data that should be ideally confidential? What is our contribution from a continent perspective? The next slide. The institution that I had, we started off, next slide, we started off engaging universities. And very similar to what you're doing as Rotary. Please go to the next slide. We've partnered with 16 universities. We started Kenya. We need to start at home. And 2 in Uganda, Kampala and Makerere. And we are broadly doing the following items. Because we are a STEM company, fully aware that we've only been here for 5 years, in Kenya for 5 years, identified a few gaps in terms of curriculum. How do we bring more and more people to be globally competitive from a digital skilling perspective? So we've been successful to review 2 Bachelor of Science computing degrees in one of the leading universities in Kenya, Jomo Kenyatta University of Agriculture and Technology. We've also partnered with other private institutions. We have 7 other curriculums in review and looking to scale this from a continent perspective in terms of impact. The other thing we're doing in universities is faculty skilling. One of the findings is a lot of lecturers have not been training or keeping up with the latest trends from a technology perspective. And mainly because of all manner of constraints in these institutions. As you know, you're only as sharp as what sharpens you. It is true. Somebody said here, show me the people you hang out with. Yes. The third thing we are doing is student engagement. One of the things that we are borrowing from the finance and accounting field, a lot of folks who take those degree courses, you find they are also doing certified public accounting or ACCA on the side. The same even for technology. With Microsoft, you're able to partner with universities, provide free certification. As long as you're a student, it is free for foundational courses. So that by the time one is graduating, you are armed with your degree and certification courses. So it really enhances your job readiness. Fourth item, collaborating with government. And this one is very close and dear to my heart. When we look at data, the number of students signing up to take STEM-related courses in Kenya is much lower compared to business and arts. But how then will we really participate in this digital revolution if that trend continues? Now, for one to gain admission to take up a STEM-related course in the university, you need to perform well in, there's one particular subject. Who wants to take a go at it? Correct, mathematics. One of the other findings we found is in 2022, in the Kenya Certificate of Secondary Education, 50% of the candidates scored a D and below. 50%, that's a huge number. So one of the areas we're engaging government, how can we partner, perhaps using AI capability to improve the score of mathematics so that down the stream, we have more people getting into universities to take on STEM-related courses. And you might ask, why is math important? It teaches problem solving and logic thinking. And I used to be in that camp who used to fear math. So there's hope. And lastly, collaboration with enterprises. Because we also realize we can't do this alone. Collaboration with enterprises, skilling, running hackathons, and I'll talk about, yes, next slide, thank you. Microsoft AI for Good. We are taking AI because we have the models and the technology, partnering to begin with large non-profit organizations to solve big Africa problems, education being one of them, climate-related challenges being another, food security. Uganda, you have a beautiful country. Beautiful, blessed with food. But that's not the case for many African countries. So how do we solve for food security from a continent perspective? There's a finding that this team recorded, if you also search them on your favorite search engine. In 2023, Libya was hit by floods. And as much as you and I can use Google Maps to navigate major cities and towns, there are many remote villages that are still not on Google Maps. So courtesy of using AI models by Microsoft and partnering with entities like UNHCR or Red Cross, they were able to really equip the people on the ground to really fasten the rescue efforts. Those are some of the things we are doing in terms of using technology for good. The next slide. I believe as I wrap up. What is my call to action? Remember my first slide. What did I ask you to remember? Lifelong learner. It starts with us. Are you adopting a growth mindset? Are you curious? Or do you look at this AI thing and you're like, this was for those STEM people? Yeah. I like the admission. I won't point fingers. And also as enterprises, it is open for everyone. Even as enterprises and governments, when you sit in that office, are you having conversations with regards to what should we be thinking about AI? Even before we go to AI, how are we doing in terms of technology? How are we thinking in terms of equipment, cloud, as an example? My call to action, when I think about AI and the opportunities to really transform Africa, and going back to the statistics I shared, we should ensure we leave no one behind. And think about the numbers, the youth. We are the grown-ups in the room today. What future are we living? Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Catherine. You have heard from her. What are we going to do differently? What are our takeaways? Somebody quipped with a joke that it's not for me, it's not for my age. You know, we will hire the millennials, the Generation Zs, but newsflash, you will be left behind, and the world will move on without you. So let's step up, let's be curious, let's be innovative, let's be creative, and not be left behind. I will request our DGE, a district governor-elect, the team lead for the magical. Yeah. Do we have any magicians in the house? Everybody's hand needs to be up. We all have a bit of magic in us. As she comes up to give a befitting vote of thanks to all the session speakers we've had this morning. Even the walk is magical.
Thank you, Diana. It gives me great honor this morning, or is it afternoon already, to give a vote of thanks to the speakers that have shared so much wisdom. And I'd like to, with Rotarian Grace, who spoke about mental health. Thank you for reminding us that mental health affects all of us, and for showing us the things that lead to mental health or mental illness. Most of the time, we do not think that financial stress or grief or worry or all those things added together can lead to mental illness. Thank you for reminding us that we need to seek help, because as we know, and among us, particularly for the men in the room, seeking help when you have financial stress is not in your DNA. But you know from today that it can lead to mental illness. So please seek help. There is no stigma in asking for help. I also want to thank our speaker, the CEO from Centenary Bank, and I think he's stepped out of the room. Thank you, Centenary Bank. Many of you are still in the room. For being, and I think I say this without fear of contradiction, for being our most valued partner. And please, let's clap for that. Thank you, Centenary Bank, for being with us in everything that we do. It is true, yours is about transforming lives, and that's our business as well. So we are natural partners, and we really, really want to thank you. And we will continue to also create value for you using the products that the CEO showed on the screen. Finally, I want to thank our last speaker, our keynote speaker, Catherine, the Chief Hope Officer. You've spoken about AI and what it does, and you talked about the importance of data. And for me, as a person who works a lot on women empowerment, you have generated for me data. You have shown me that there is hope for women in STEM, that women can lead. And I think you'll all agree with me that when women are in STEM, they make things easy. After today, we all understand AI. I'm sure if we had a guy here, we would be scratching our heads and wondering what this is. So thank you, Catherine. The boy child, I know. Jaja boy is here. But let's agree, she really made it easy for us. And one of the things that you talked about was about the need to continue learning. And there's something you said that stayed with me. You're only as sharp as what sharpens you. And I understood why I'm not good at math. It must have been my math teacher. If he was sharp, I would have been an accountant. I'd have been something else. So you're only as sharp as what sharpens you. So friends, fellow Rotarians, let's embrace learning. Let's continue to sharpen ourselves. And with those words, I'd like to invite the district governor to give a token of appreciation to our speakers. Thank you very much. So, Catherine. This is something in the cloud, so you don't need to open. Photographers.
Our photographers, they're in the cloud. We're backing them up somewhere. The DJ a beat. Thank
Rotarian literacy. Please come and accept this on behalf of the CEO of Centenary Bank.
Thank you. Thank you very much for that session. We are running late, but we're going to try and catch up. Now, one of the things that I need to inform all of you is that can we make sure that tonight we have the Caribbean night, right? Can we finish early enough, go and rest so that we can come early tomorrow? Right? Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so just a few announcements, then I'll let you know what is going on next. We have a team from iCare and UMC Victoria Hospital that are supporting us with medical services, diagnosis and vaccination for yellow fever. So please, let's go and get the vaccinations if we need them. And they can diagnose any other diseases that we may have. The Mengo Hospital Rotary Blood Bank is also collecting units of blood. So if you want to donate blood, please visit the House of Friendship. They'll be able to take your samples. The House of Friendship is open, and you're encouraged to go and visit and pick up items for yourselves, for your club members, and also for your family members. We'll have lunch, and at that lunch we shall have the TRF Awards and also the Public Image, Technology and Innovation Awards during the lunch break. In a few minutes, the sergeants, there are many. Those guys will help us to direct us to the rooms that we are going into. There will be a breakout session in this room for 20 minutes only and not 45 as indicated on the program. So those who are staying in this room will stay here for 20 minutes, and then the other breakout session is in Albert Room, which is downstairs. So please make your way there as well to ensure that we hold those sessions, and then we should be ready for lunch at exactly 2 p.m. I want to take this opportunity to continue to recognize our sponsors. Centenary Bank, thank you very much. Fireworks Advertising, let's clap for them. Uganda Breweries Limited. Airtel Uganda, let's keep clapping. Rock Telecom. Uganda Bureau of Standards. TTB Investments. Our Lady of Africa. Bank of Uganda. Uganda Civil Aviation Authority. National Water and Storage Corporation, Rotary Club of Kampala Sese Islands, St. Joseph Hospital, Wachiso, Arch Forum Limited, Gold Gate Associates. I only see very few people clapping, I don't know why. Uganda Electricity Generation Company Limited, Uganda Airlines, Saraya Manufacturing Uganda Limited for the sanitizers, Excel Insurance, Ambitious Construction Company Limited, the Parliament of Uganda, yes, Sunset Adventures, China communication and construction company as well. Thank you very much, our sponsors. We sincerely appreciate. So we'll now break out into sessions that will last no more than 20 minutes, and then we shall have lunch in the tent. It's now not a reggae night tent anymore. It's now a lunch tent. So at 2 o'clock, we should finish the breakout sessions and proceed for lunch. Thank you very much.
And in addition to that, as you disperse to both rooms, right here and downstairs for Albert Hall, the sergeants at arms will help guide you for those who are leaving the room. But don't forget, after lunch, we have other activities happening. There is the swimming gala. Yes, then we have the Rotary Fellowship for Empowering Women as well, hosting us for another session. And the Rotaractors will be having the Rotaract Awards as well in the afternoon. So don't choose to go and sleep. I know there's also a Kampala bus city tour, but surely for those living in Kampala, we can skip this one. Huh? But please allow me to stress the point. We can only enjoy a full DISCON experience if we adhere to the time frames we have. In the morning, we had very few people coming very early, but please, again, I know a lot of us were saying we need to enjoy. Yes, you can maybe party and sleep for 3 hours, but let's be here on time, and coffee is still around. We will function on less sleep, but as long as we enjoy the rest of the DISCON experience.
Thank you. And for those of you who want to swim, later this afternoon and the spinning tomorrow, there is a desk when you walk out of the door on your right, on my right, there's that corner there. There is a registration desk. Please register yourselves for swimming and for the spinning class. Thank you very much.
When we hear a certain call, when the world must come together as one. There are people dying. Oh, it's time to give a hand to life, the greatest gift of all. We can go on, just pretend day by day.
So for those who are staying in the Victoria Ballroom, which is right where we are right now, we'll have a panel discussion on what's the fuss with the ESG FAD. And then those who are going to the Albert Room, the discussion there will be about an opportunity for the youth changing the world order. So those are the two rooms, Victoria Room here, and Albert Room downstairs. Thank you.
Yeah, with solidarity. There comes a time when we hear a certain call, when the world must come together as one. There are people dying. Oh, it's time to give a hand to life, the greatest gift of all. We can go on, just pretend day by day that someone somewhere would make a change. We are all a part of the great big family, and the children's love is all we need.
Thank you.